Introducing the next presenter in a beat the clock challenge, weighing in at the size of a newborn giraffe, standing at 6 feet tall on a good day, hailing from Miss Graham's 4th block, Dominique the technician Rival.
Alright. Just start out. My presentation is going to be on professional wrestling, why it's the realest thing we'll talk about today, why it's highly underrated right now. And I start off with blade, and blading is just a terminology that we need to just quickly understand in professional wrestling. It's intentionally cutting oneself to produce blood. Typically, they'll have a small little razor blade, in their elbow pads and wrist tape, sometimes knee pads. So let's take it out, cut themselves in the head. But lately it's been barred from professional wrestling because it's highly dangerous, because if you cut a vein, that's, going to pretty much hurt you. And that goes into the whole botch part. But talk about the spots. Spots are just things that make you say, oh my God. Like what I did right there, that's a spot. We planned that. It was predetermined. We wanted you to just feel comfortable and just say, a unique experience. And to go back to the botching with blading, if something goes horribly wrong, if someone gets injured, usually they'll throw up the X's, they'll cancel the match, they got to stop it right there because they don't want someone to get even more hurt, because people have died in the ring. Rey Mysterio accidentally killed a man this time last year with a drop toe hold when he landed on the ropes. His larynx busted, it was the end of him. And he was pronounced dead on sight. And that's why most fights nowadays in professional wrestling are predetermined, they're scripted. That's some of the criticism with it compared to UFC, which are known as shoot fights. A bout is just a match. And that's why they have time allocated slots that they need to fill. They have sponsors. People are highly invested in this, just like with UFC, but they're not allowed to really go over because they're on big networks, USA Network, Spike TV, stuff like that. And what people do is they portray a character in this. They want to be able to get people to follow this character that they love, that they can believe in, and get behind, whether they hate them or they love them. And to go on to prove why wrestling's real, I got some stuff that we can analyze, some matches. So we have a barbed wire steel chair here, hitting a guy in the arm. By God, nearly impossible to fake that. We have a flaming table right here, and a man leaping off of a 40-foot steel structure just this past Sunday. You know, see it right here? Yeah, broken ribs, several stitches, barbed wire ropes. Yeah, it's anything but fake. And to go into that, we have the F word. One of the worst things you can call someone is fake. Whether it's person, place, or thing, that's probably one of the most insulting things you could say. And let's look at this documentary. This documentary was made out of spite, made out of hatefulness, because NBC at the time was not happy with professional wrestling. They wanted to completely eradicate the sport, and they wanted it to be about what they had on television. And so they got a bunch of guys who are jobbers. Jobbers are the worst. Think of them as Little League. They don't know what they're doing, more likely to get injured, but you kind of want to invest in them to get to the spot where they can entertain millions around the world. And, you know, if it was fake, there'd be no injuries. Clearly there's injuries every day, more people getting hurt every single day. And it's with any sport. So. And with that, wrestling isn't wrestling. Wrestling, back in the day, 70s, 80s, it was more of a territory area. You had small little local companies in their own little place, but now it's global. They want as many eyes to see it. They want people to be fans of them. They go from a small network, over $100 million, to $600 million. And just this past Sunday, over 101,000 people in attendance at the AT&T Stadium. And of course, wrestling's everywhere. You can, drive a couple miles, you'll get to Raleigh, they got it there. You can drive to Smithfield, they got it there. Lately I went to an Omega Championship Wrestling show that was teamed up with Big Time Wrestling, ran by Jeff and Matt Hardy, and I was able to interview some people you'll see in a couple of slides. So, alright, click on the guy on the left. That is Michael Hutter, aka EC3, and the guy right here, his name is Jim Perez.
Well, hello, this is Andrew Carter for EC3 from TNA Wrestling, former two-time overweight champion and dear friend of Dominic. This project regarding professional wrestling, and whether it's fake or not, I assure you, physicality is real, and the emotion. Physicality is real in the sense that time and time again I found myself first-hand injured, and doing research in wrestling. Concussions are absolutely no joke. My life's had for big numbers twice. That's in addition to strains, and other bruises and bumps and pains. So physicality in professional wrestling is very real. The reason that physicality is real is the emotions that makes the fans inside. Booing, cheering, yelling, cheering, driving, heroes. That is what wrestling is about, the emotions of it. When I landed from that thing, that was 25 feet. So when I landed, I blew the ACL, tore a bunch of the cartilage, had to go to the hospital and drain 200 cc's of blood off the knee. I had to have a scope the next day and cleaned out because it looked like a hand grenade went off in there. And I never had the ACL fixed because I couldn't take that much time off of work. And that was 30 years ago, this coming Thanksgiving. And it's now become my good knee because the one that I tore the ACL in later that the doctor fixed is now worse than the one where they never fixed it. So the moral of the story is don't ever go to the doctor.
You can probably guess where I censored that. So, up next, if you're, a little weak stomach, you probably don't want to look at this. We have a guy, Sid Vicious, jumping off the second rope in the big boots, Scott Steiner, and his leg snaps in half. He was out for 3 years, so it could have been a lot worse, could have been a lot better, but it was one of the most infamous injuries of professional wrestling. Yeah. And you can't discredit women because they wrestle too, and they get just as beat up. Becky Lynch right here this past Sunday had to get 7 stitches because she got kicked right in the face, multiple throws into the rope, hit with a DDT outside of the ring. Snoop Dogg was there, by the way. He watched it. He said it was gruesome. And they fight. So, but one of the most infamous injuries of them all is not physical, it is psychological. And with that, I bring you to Chris Benoit, a man that I could talk about for days on end. Because what he did, he changed the landscape of professional wrestling. They had to be a lot more safer. What they did, they had to basically bar and ban a lot of headshots, power drivers, anything to the head. They had to stop that because psychologically it's degrading their mind. He had the mind of a man with Alzheimer's in his 80s from this, and it ultimately led to him killing his wife, his young son, and himself. And that is why they don't want to have another case like this on their hands. And that leads us to the bigger problem with professional wrestling, is that people can say it's fake, people can say whatever they want. Many people are still going to be fans. 101,000 people this past WrestleMania. To crunch some numbers also, that's just Super Bowl 50 had 71,000 people. WrestleMania 31 in the same arena, Levi Stadium, had 76,000 people. So people are fans of wrestling too. They love the sport. And with that, the bigger problem is people are still getting hurt. And psychologically, they don't want another Chris Benoit case because if someone dies in the ring, that's one tragedy. They get injured, that's one tragedy. But to go and psychologically be degraded to a point that they had to kill someone else, someone that they loved, it's horrible. And you can see that most wrestlers 12 times more likely to die from heart disease than other Americans 25 to 44 years old. And so with that, I'm going to say professional wrestling, it's real. physicality is real because the emotions are real, as I can quote. And you should give it a shot. You know, you might like it. It might change your viewpoint on it if you see some good wrestling.